Hey guys, we are back for Bandcamp Dailies number 42. And did you know that women will continue to expel blood for weeks after they give birth? I did not know that. I'm just a dumb guy. I never thought about that before, but apparently that happens. That sounds like a very scary thing. But it might be traumatizing, but honestly, I think that's pretty hot. I like blood. I'm into blood. I think that's pretty cool. You know, just drench myself in vaginal blood so I look like Carrie from the movie. You know, the movie where she has the pig's blood thrown on her. That's an awesome movie, by the way. Love that movie so much. But that sounds cool to me. Just like, you know, slather the blood all over my dick. And it sounds like a good time to me. And I'm getting aroused just thinking about it. Now, oh, by the way, I mentioned, you may have, if you remember that girl I used to talk to online. I mentioned her before in videos before. And she's featured in my friend zone video, not featured really, but I talk about her in that video, in the friend zone video. Anyway, when I went to visit her, before I went to visit her, I mentioned in videos before that we had talked about a lot of different stuff. And one of the things we talked about was her period. And it wasn't all one-sided. She was very vocal about it. It was sort of our thing. We would talk about her period. And so I go to visit her and she comes to the hotel and she ends up getting her period. This was unintentional, but she ends up getting her period. And then so she goes to the washroom and then she's done. And then so she calls me in to the washroom. So I go in and she shows me this toilet full of red water. And so yeah. Okay, so should I start over? Should I delete that entire intro? Or should we just soldier on? I think we should just continue. Just try and salvage this video. This is going to be an absolute clusterfuck of a video. Oh my God. We have a whole bunch of listens. This is going to be a huge video. My goal is to get it under 2 hours. I don't even know if that's physically possible because some of the songs are one of the songs is 12 minutes. One of the songs is 12 minutes. Another song is 6.5 minutes. Another song is 8.5 minutes. I don't know how many songs we have to listen to. It's not 51, but it's a bunch. And it's songs over the span of like 7 different albums, maybe even 8. So this is going to be a gigantic video and I'm not good at being quick on my feet. So I'm not a very quick-witted person. So this is going to be a real big challenge for me. Normally when we have just a video where I talk about one song, it takes like half an hour. So I don't know. I mean, under 2 hours, best case scenario. However, I don't think that's even possible. Under 3 hours is the more realistic scenario. Obviously, this is not going to be watchable, but I hope the intro at the very beginning gave the video some sort of charm or anti-charm, I guess. Anyway, so we have a whole bunch of listens. Kretzmer Defective Mind. We talked about luring oneself into the throes of make-believe. We're talking about this one. This is a new one. Bulging Gown of Ice. We have to talk about this. Waiting for Water to Boil. We talked about. Take a Photo. We've talked about. Stolen Library Card and Shins and Needles. We haven't talked about. We're going to do those. Shard 8. We're going to do that. Shard 37. We're going to do that. Shard 8. I don't think we're actually doing this. I don't remember if we're doing this or not. Shard 22, we're doing. Shard 1, we're not doing. Red Tires, we're doing. Shard Part 1.5, we're doing. 1, 2, no. Mistaken Lobotomy, no. Love, no. Look at That, no. We've already done those. Let's Compromise, we're doing this. The Kansas City Shreds, we're not doing. We've done those. Kansas City New, we have to do 4 and 3. All the others we've done. Kansas City is supposed to be Sad, and Hail Satan we've already done. It Was the Panda, we have to do this. Immortal Agony, we've already done. Hooves, we've already done. Got Your Jacket, we've already done. Exquisite Milk Glowing Teeth and Equivalent Phosphate Hue, we have to do both of these. Donkey Kong Country Bass Acoustic, we've already done. Crunchy, we've done. Crippler Demo 3, we have to do. The other 2 demos, we've already done. Christopher, Busy Mom, Astral Emanation, we've already done. Too Much Bowling, we're doing this one. Girls, we're doing this one. The Gardener we did, Lost Valley of Dissection we've done, and Eternal Slumber we have to do. Okay, so there's your gigantic list. Hopefully that didn't take too long. So let's try and do this as quickly and painlessly as possible. So here we are No, we're not. We're starting off bad already. We're starting with luring oneself. I have this absolutely gargantuan text file that I've been working on today over underneath my face here. It is ridiculously long. And so I'm going to be looking at it a lot, which makes me talk slower as well because I have to read at the same time. So this is just not going to be a good video, but I'm going to try my best. Okay, so luring oneself into the throes of make-believe. Here we go. This is from 2020. Now, yeah, you may recognize this song, at least the intro to this song. I've used the intro in many of my Elise Eklund videos. It's featured in there. You know, I heard that she was like an emo girl back in the day. And so in the intro to this song sounds quite emo. And so this song is featured in those. Okay, by the way, speaking of Elise, the next EE video, I've mentioned it before. I was working on, it's called Genie. So if I right click on the notepad here, I've been working on Genie. Now, I was supposed to start filming my scenes tomorrow. However, I haven't finished the script yet. I was working on the script today. I sort of was procrastinating yesterday. I was in a really bad mood yesterday and the day before because it's for a really stupid reason. There's a guy who works downstairs in the shop, and he left something plugged in, some sort of electric thing plugged in for over 24 hours, and it causes a lot of interference with my TV antennas. And it just so happens that while it was plugged in, there was some extreme reception going on, and I wasn't able to experience it because there was just too much noise generated from this thing that was plugged in. And so I didn't get anything. Everyone else was getting stuff and I wasn't. And it was driving me, like, this is the kind of stuff that drives me insane. Because I'm such a nerd loser. I can't pick up my TV stations. But it really made me sad. And so I didn't start doing the script, and I sort of put it off until today. And I started doing it, but it's taking longer than I thought. And I don't think I'm going to be ready to do it tomorrow. That's the whole point of this story. So I don't know when I'm going to finish it. And I also don't know when I'm going to be able to finish to film my scenes. Probably, I feel like I have to do it on a Sunday. So if not today or tomorrow, then it would be a week. But maybe I can try and film during the week. I don't know. Anyway, so there's that. Now, tCHADt. This is by the band tCHADt. This tCHADt, that's how you pronounce it. This is my, this is like a joke band, a joke side project. It's a humorous project. And so it's like a DSBM joke project. DSBM is depressive suicidal black metal. And that is a genre of black metal that musically, I think some of it is very cool because it incorporates very sad sounding music. And I really like sad sounding music. And when I listen to sad sounding music, I don't get sad. I like it. So it makes me feel good when I hear it. Now, the other thing about DSBM is like the lyrics and the themes that they incorporate into the lyrics and just the album in general. They tend to be very hilarious because they're like just ramping up the depressive nature of the music. And so I'm not a depressed guy in general. I'm not a down in the dumps type of person generally. And so when I see that sort of stuff, it makes me laugh to myself. And so, however, with this project, so I just have to consult my thing here. Yeah. So this project, I sort of, like, it's a joke, but I'm poking fun at my inability to, what did I write? I'm poking fun, intended to poke fun at my non-existent skills at wooing the opposite sex. That's what I wrote here. So that's what this project was for. I was making fun of myself. And it's all wrapped in a DSBM wrapper container. And so it was a great way to express those sorts of feelings with and for the songs themselves, I tried to write songs that I liked, and the music isn't supposed to be funny, but like with the vocals, I tried to use a very whiny vocal sound, like over the top whiny. And so I posted this. This was written for like a songwriting challenge on TBV, the Black Vault. And so I posted it, and no one could tell that I was trying to be like over the top with the vocals. They just thought it was black metal vocals. So I guess that didn't really work. But it's not really apparent that it's a joke project, but it is. Like, it's supposed to be humorous. But okay, so what else did I write? Oh yeah, and so by the way, this is not the first tCHADt album that I was working on. Now this is the only tCHADt release that I have on my Bandcamp page. However, I actually started this project in 2017. I wrote 3 songs for an album. I just never ended up recording them fully for some reason. It's not like they're difficult or anything. I just, for some reason, never finished recording them. I don't know why. Eventually I did the drums, and I just kept putting off the guitars, but I still have it. However, the reason I'm talking about this is because I did finish the artwork. The artwork is very funny. But I just have to warn you, because it's also very disturbing. Now, I made the artwork in Microsoft Paint. We're going to look at the artwork. I made it in Microsoft Paint, so it's very crudely made. And it's quite disturbing in terms of the themes. Now, I mentioned that this is a joke project, so you have to have a sense of humor when you look at this artwork, okay? And like I said, this is to poke fun at my shortcomings in, trying to woo a lady. And so, okay, I'll load the picture. So let's go to this folder here. It should be in here. And okay, so it should be B. This should not exist. I'm going to delete that. Okay, so once again, prepare yourself. I'm just warning you, okay? Okay, here we go. So here's the artwork for the first tCHADt album. And so it's called Saving Myself for You. Now, this makes me laugh so much. It's very, very funny. So obviously it's some guy with some sort of shrine dedicated to this girl that he has a crush on. And I made this in 2017, by the way. And so he's got a heart. He's got all this written down, and he's got a photo of her. And then I guess he found some of her hair. He's got tape to the wall. He's got some of her underwear and her bra. And then he found an old maxi pad, an old used maxi pad, and he pinned that to the wall as well. And then the bottom, I don't want to say. Obviously, I think it's obvious what it is, but I guess he relieved himself on the wall multiple times, and then he used his fingers or something to write in the album title. So obviously this is very over the top. I don't do this, obviously. Obviously, I hope it's obvious. But that is the theme of the album. This was just way over the top. And so that is the origin of tCHADt. So now I'm going to talk about this artwork. So if you just looked at this artwork, you probably wouldn't think that it was a joke band. But if you looked at the artwork we just looked at, hopefully you would realize that it's just a joke band. Okay. I'm just wondering if I'm going to regret showing that. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show it because it is the origin story of tCHADt. And so with this artwork, now I have to consult my thing here again. Yeah, so I mean, my girlfriend might think that I'm an idiot because once again, we have the upside down crosses, right? However, these aren't actually crosses. They're upside down T's, the letter T, as evidenced by the band name. It's tCHADt. But the T's are silent, so you just pronounce it as Chad. Okay, now as for the artwork, this is just a piece of paper, and I wrote on it right here. This is like the logo. So I guess this is the T. The T's at the side. Here's your C. There's an H. There's an A. And there's a D. And so I must have written it in pencil or pen or something. And I screwed around with the levels, probably inverted the colors as well. But, I was looking at it today, and it sort of looks like a rock. Like the background is a rock, and then I sort of etched this into the rock or scratched it into the rock with another rock or something. But no, it's just a piece of paper, and I screwed around with the levels, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, so yeah, so the last thing, we're going to listen to the song. We're probably like 20 minutes in already. There's no way this is going to be under 2 hours. Now, because of the logo and the title, Luring Oneself into the Throes of Make-Believe, you may think, like, if you assume that these were upside down crosses, you may think that this song was about anti-religion or like atheism or something, but that's not actually the case. And I'm 100% genuine here. This is not the case at all. This song is actually complaining about the trans ideology. So that's what the song is about. Luring oneself into the throes of make-believe. And you may notice that there are no lyrics published for this. However, there are lyrics for the song. I wrote lyrics, and we're gonna look at them tonight while we listen to the song. So yeah, I didn't want to publish them on Bandcamp just in case. All right, so now we have to find out where the lyrics are. I think they're right. Okay, first I have to open this. Now we have to do the lyrics. Okay. All right, so we have it. I don't know where I should put this because I don't want the artwork to get obscured, but there's really nowhere to put it. Okay, whatever. So this is luring oneself into the throes of make-believe. I think there was supposed to be more stuff that maybe I'll like stop the song every now and then. I'm gonna make the popcorn after this. I don't know if I even mentioned popcorn. I love this intro, by the way. Yeah, I really like it. It's very, very sad sounding. Yeah, the melodies in this song I really, really like. I was trying to, so this song was written for a songwriting challenge, and I was trying to, there's this band named Zasther, and I was sort of I was taking inspiration from them, specifically on on a riff later in the song. But there's some very nice keyboards in this. The sound quality is intentionally rough and raw and lo-fi. I actually added a bunch of like effects to the guitars to try to make them sound even worse, which ended up working. And I recorded the drums with only one microphone. I've done that before, and I did it again this time. And so I don't know if you can even notice, like, my vocals. I'm trying to be extremely whiny. I'm not gonna do my vocal style for that like in the video, because it's gonna be like extremely cringy. And I also used a bunch of effects on the vocals as well. I don't even know if I remember how to do them, but it's really, really bad. Like if you heard the actual unedited vocals, you would probably laugh and think I was an idiot, if you didn't already. By the way, the drums are extremely fast. I can't remember. That's a blast beat. I don't remember what the tempo is. The beats per minute. Beats per minute. It's over 240. It's got to be at least 250. It might even be 260. But that's like insane for me. That is a long blast beat, an extended blast beat. By the way, I just realized this. Oh crap. I have a couple YouTube shorts that show this song, like parts of this song, of just me playing on the guitar. So like when I came up with the riffs, I have a couple YouTube shorts. I don't think we're going to be able to, I don't know. I'll go to the folder. If we can find them, we'll watch them. Yeah. Okay. I just literally just remembered that right now. So the part that's about to come up, it's got some really cool piano notes. It's just, I'm such an idiot. I only play it 4 times. It's so stupid. I mean, normally I do that with my other music, but that's when the song structures are really compressed and the songs are short. This is a long song. I should have played it for like 2 minutes long, for 2 minutes straight, because it's the best part of the song. So it's definitely a missed opportunity on my part. So this is the part that's about to start. This is the disaster part of the song. It was inspired by the song A Gate Through Blood-Stained Mirrors, I believe. I think it's what it was called. Really good song. Like the second half of the song is really cool. It's just amazing. Yeah, this part in the lyrics, this is where the person, this isn't me saying this. This is what the person is saying, hence the quotes. The person, the transgender person. right, there is your song. That was very intense. I really like this song. The lyrics, I have not read the lyrics in a long time, probably since I wrote the song, so like 5 years. Anyway, there's your song. I think we're done finally with this. So we have to do this quickly. Okay, one down, 30 left. What are we on now? We're on to the future of asexual logic. Okay, a lot of interesting song titles, album titles. Before we even start, let's change the artwork. Okay, we're going to change the artwork. So let's go to edit. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so where is it? It should be in music/Bandcamp, I believe. And what is this called? Yeah, this one. Right. Yeah. Should be red. There you go. Looks good to me. All right, so this is the original artwork. Very nice. By the way, I don't know if you know what this is. This is a TV antenna. Talking about TV antennas again. So this is when I installed a TV antenna, and I took a photo of it. Now, I do have the original photo. I'm going to show it because it's pretty cool. So let's go back over here. I created a folder dedicated to this. Okay, so let's do this. And we'll do this. Yeah, so there you go. I installed this antenna, and very nice view. So this is the origin story of this artwork. So that's pretty cool. All right. So the songs we're listening to are the first three. So we have Bulging Gown of Ice. We have Equivalent, Phosphate Hue. I don't know what any of these song titles mean. And then we have Exquisite Milk, Glowing Teeth. By the way, next time you're breastfeeding, just think of my face on the other nipple. Was that inappropriate? Should I not have said that? That was one of the jokes I had written down in my text file. Because when I think of milk, I think of, obviously breastfeeding, especially now. Okay, so we've done the first two bullet points. So the title, The Future of Asexual Logic, I don't want to talk about that. Too personal. I don't want to upset my girlfriend. And but these songs are, I'm very handsy today. I feel like I'm very emotive with my hands. Is that good? You probably can't even see them because, I'm like I have a small picture right here. Narrow picture. But these songs are re-recorded versions of my album It's a Trap from 2011, which is down here. This is the last Time of Death album. Yeah, right here. 2011. So that's kind of interesting. The songs that we're about to listen to are much more interesting than this. This was just one guitar and drum machine, no vocals or anything like that. That was just like a rehearsal demo or something. But these, I picked 6 of my favorite songs from that, and I re-recorded them, and I wrote lyrics. I did vocals, and it ended up sounding pretty good. However, there's a big however. I absolutely hate the drum sound on this album because this is the first and only time I ever used sample replacements on the drums, and I don't like it at all. It just bothers me so much. One of these days I will remix it. It's easy because I did physically play the drums. I just changed the sounds of what my drums sounded like. So I'm just going to remove all the samples and just have my normal drums playing, which will make this album so much better. I can't believe I haven't done that yet. This was 11 years ago. So I don't know when I'm going to do that. I obviously didn't have time to do it today, but hopefully one day I'll do it, and I will do it one day. Okay, so now what? Re-recorded. Yeah, okay, so the last thing I have to say is I played all these songs live, actually. I played the entirety of the demo, the It's a Trap demo, in the year 2011 or 2012 at the Blood Bucket Metal Fest, I think is what it was called. Blood Bucket Productions is a record label that released 2 of my albums in 2005 and 2008. And so then I ended up releasing It's a Trap demo, or the EP, or whatever you want to call it. And I forget how I ended up playing at this place. I don't know if he contacted me or if I contacted him. I really don't remember. Either way, the guy who owned the record label, he was putting on the show. This was at the Hard Luck Bar in Toronto. And so I ended up playing there. That was my first time meeting him, actually. I'd never met him before. So first time meeting him. He's a nice guy. And he actually did vocals as well at the show for me. So we played like 11 or 12 songs. I forget how many. About 20 minutes worth of music. So I don't know if he actually wrote lyrics or not. I can't remember. We never practiced. We never rehearsed. We just met. And I'm assuming I sent him the songs. I really don't remember. But that was really fun. It was probably the biggest show I've ever played. There was a bit of an audience. There was a smoke machine, so that was pretty neat. And playing wise, I played pretty good, but I had some trouble. We had drum machine for drums, so I had some trouble hearing the drums at times. And like, I don't have enough playing live experience because I pretty much just write and record music here. I don't play live very often, and so there was a monitor in front of me, but I didn't know enough to ask the sound guy, hey, can you turn the monitor up so I could hear it better? So at times it wasn't perfectly tight. Like, there were, I think, 2 spots where I was out of time on the drum machine. However, some of it was very tight. It was very fun to do. And I'm really glad to have been given that opportunity. So, and it was a really good experience. Dave was also there because I believe the next night we played a Cora Canyon show at this place that I think literally no one was there except for, like, I think 3 people who we knew from high school had shown up. And then I think like a couple homeless people wandered in. But anyway, that was fun too. That show was fun as well. Okay, so let's listen to the first 3 songs. Okay, I shouldn't have done that yet. We have a live video of Bulging Gown of Ice. Now, I don't know what we're going to do because we have a live video, but we also have lyrics. So, okay, we're just going to forget about the lyrics for this song. The lyrics are literally nonsensical. They don't mean anything. I was just like this. This is probably the origin of my random bullshit nonsensical lyric style that I really enjoy doing. Yeah, so we're going to have to just not listen to the lyrics because I want to show you the live video of this. So let's go to my YouTube page. Let's go to visit my channel. What was it called? Bulging Gown of Ice? Bulging Gown. How about that? Yeah, here we go. So this was 10 years ago. 10 years ago? Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to copy this. We're going to do our little trick. Paste. We're going to do this and this. Probably going to have to refresh the page. I don't know why it does this. All right. So, I mean, it shows me playing drums. However, the drums are sample replaced. So, but the timing wasn't changed. It was just the sound of the drums. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to change the mix. there you go. Very tightly played. That was very nicely played by me. And by the way, what I've neglected to mention, that show was the first time I had pretty much ever played my Time of Death music before. Like my death metal music before, because normally when we play live, it's just I'm playing with Dave and we're doing Cora Canning stuff. So that was the first time I played like my Time of Death music, except for at Battle of the Bands in like the year 2000, where I mentioned that, where we played The Deaths of Slime River, which was cool as well. But Dave didn't play the blast beats. So that was the first blast beat songs that I've ever played live before. So that was really cool. That was a long time ago, 2012, 2011, something like that. Okay, so now we're going to listen to the other two songs with the lyrics. That riff is just so cool. Like that opening riff. Oh my God. That riff is so cool. I'm definitely a fan of that riff. Okay, so let's listen to the third song, last song on this album. Okay, there you go. I really like that song. That song is really tight. So this album is going to sound so much better, in my opinion. I'm going to like this album so much better once I remix it, remove those drum samples. Okay, another one bites the dust. So what do we have now? We're actually quite a bit down in the text file because I had a lot of stuff to say for those for the first two ones. Okay, so now we're talking about Apanda. So let's go to Stolen Library Card. All right, once again, we have to change the artwork. So let's go to Edit, This artwork, I really like this artwork. It's very ugly, but I do like it. So Apanda front, here we go. There you go. So let's hit update album, view album. There you go. There is my beautiful face. This was taken in the bathroom. It was photo. It was a photo taken, and then I drew over it in Microsoft Paint. So I had like this really ugly beard, and so this was like I think probably my first attempt at some sort of beard. I wanted a beard for a long time, and then this is what I ended up having. It was really ugly, and I mean, this is a really ugly photograph, really ugly album art. But here you go. This is what it is, and so this, I wanted to test out my new mics, so I made this mini album, Chaotic Nonsense. I recorded the drums, then the guitar on February 12th, then I recorded the keyboards on February 13th. Everything was improvised, except for some of the guitar and keyboard riffs, where I listened to the drums a couple times first, and then semi-planned some riffs. Yeah, so this is, some of it is like free jazz, free improv, so it's just complete nonsensical stuff. And then other times like I said, I listened to the drums a couple times and I tried to write like a riff that would sort of fit, but it's very, very loose. It doesn't sound like written music at all. However, the parts that I did sort of try and write something for, I really like them, even though it sounds extremely loose, but that's the vibe I was obviously going for. But yeah, one of the songs we're listening to, Shins and Needles, this is my favorite one. And so that's really cool. And we're going to listen to that shortly. Now, first of all, we're listening to Red Tires, Let's Compromise, Stolen Library Card, and Shins and Needles. By the way, Shins and Needles, this is a take off of Pins and Needles, and then I sort of switcherooed it. I made it Shins and Needles, and I spelled needles with a K. So that's pretty clever. Like, that's pretty much beyond my mental abilities, but I came up with it. Pretty smart, isn't it? Okay, so I talked about that. What else? We did everything so this is free jazz-ish, free jazz adjacent. Normally with the free jazz stuff, we also isolate the instruments in Reaper, but we're not doing that today because it's just, we have too many songs to talk about. So if we can do that maybe on another day when there aren't so many songs to talk about. And I also have to find, I didn't even bother looking for it, but I have to find where the project file is and all the WAV files and all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be saved for another time. Now, 2 of the songs have really distorted guitars, so it would help to isolate those guitars. But the other songs, I feel like the distortion isn't quite as heavy. Sometimes it's actually like quite clean guitar. So maybe it'll be a little... And sometimes it's not as chaotic. And so hopefully you'll be able to sort of make out what's going on a little more. Okay, so what else do I have to say? Okay, last thing I have to say about this. Apanda, this is actually a reference to the Canadian actress named Amanda Crew. And so I ended up calling this Apanda. So Amanda Crew, she's a Canadian actress. I had first seen her in this show called 15 Love. It was a Canadian tennis show. It was like, it wasn't a sitcom. It was like a teen drama or something like that. Back in like the year, I don't even remember, 2000 or something. And she was on that show for like the last couple seasons. She replaced, apparently, I just remembered about this. Apparently 2 of the kids on the show, like the actors, they died somehow. It was either a plane crash or something while they were on the show. So they were replaced, and she replaced one of the girls. I think it was a girl and a guy who died. I hope I'm getting this right, because that's what I remember. Maybe it was just one guy. I don't know. Either way, she was on the show. And so that's where I first found out about her. And then she was on this other show called Whistler, which was like a college person drama type thing. And she's been in movies and stuff like that as well. But anyway, the whole point of this story is 2013, it must have been that year, the year before, one of her movies came on TV. It was called Sex Drive. So it's like a raunchy comedy type of thing. And so, and on, it came on my, the TV that I'm watching with the antenna, and they showed the unrated version of the movie. And so there was like a bunch more nudity and stuff in the movie, male nudity, and a bunch more vulgar stuff in general. Anyway, so there's this one part, I think near the beginning of the movie, where she is standing next to this fully naked guy. And that was really cool. That was really hot. Like, I don't know if people realize that's like a porn category where you have a fully clothed girl, a fully clothed woman, and a naked guy. It's called clothed female, naked male. It's or CFNM for short. And so that was really hot. And so that, inspired me to name this Apanda. So there you go. There is the origin of the name Apanda. I don't think I ever said that before on video or anywhere else. So that is, you've heard it here first. I saw her in a couple more movies recently, actually, within the last couple of years. I forget what they're called, though. One of them was really cool. It was like, I'm not going to describe it. I did talk about it in one of my videos where I do like dozens of movie reviews. It was either my Prime Video watch history or my Netflix watch history. I can't remember which one. But okay, so I think I did everything. So we're going to listen to Red Tires, Let's Compromise, Stolen Library Card, and Shins and Needles. We're saving the best for last. I love this so much. This song is really awesome. I love it so much. There's also keyboards. So it's got guitars, 2 keyboards. It's got keyboards, 2 guitars, and drums. And so this song specifically is all free jazz. Completely improvised. Yeah. By the way, I've mentioned this before. That keyboard was my youngest sister's little toy Casio keyboard with the small keys. It only had a couple octaves, and you can only press 2 keys at a time, because if you pressed more than that, the sound, you couldn't hear the sound. Only the first 2 keys you press would register a sound. I love that song so much. This album is amazing. I love it. I love this album. There are a couple parts on this song where like all the instruments stop at the same time. So if I remember correctly, obviously the drums were recorded first, and then I like had the wave file open in my in Reaper recording software, and so you could see the visual representation of the wave file, so you can see where the drums stop and stuff like that. And so when I was recording guitars, I would try and match up. I would try to rest whenever the drums rested or at specific spots. And so at times it sounds quite tight. But I don't know if this song specifically had like semi-written parts. It sure doesn't sound like it so far. I know on Shins and Needles there definitely is. So, and then a couple of the other songs as well. Did you hear everything stop right there? Like, I've listened to this album so much, even though it sounds like complete nonsense, I know how the songs go. So I know where the rests are generally. This song, Stolen Library Card, it has some pretty moody sections. There's quite a bit of atmosphere on this song, which is really cool. I really like the name too, Stolen Library Card. I don't know why. However, it's like, I guess your library card gets stolen and you're very sad if you're a reader. I guess I'm not, but maybe someone who is would be extremely sad. And parts of this song would sort of represent that. That feeling of sadness. That guitar riff there, that's definitely written. I remember that, yeah. Okay, so there you go. So now we have one left, Shins and Needles. Shins and Needles is an absolute super fast-paced song. It just does not give up. That's another reason why I really like it. And there are a couple really cool riffs in it, at least in my opinion. So let's listen to it. So it has it counts in. I think it counts in 9 times. No, it does it 13. So I knew it was an odd number, but it's 13. Yeah, the drums in this song are just crazy. That riff there is my favorite part of the song. The keyboard riff. I'm doing one of my patented chords where it's basically two notes right next to each other, hitting them at the same time. Now I like doing that on keyboards. When I do that on guitar, I do it an octave up and then one semitone down. So it's not exactly an octave. It's an octave minus one semitone. But when I do it on keyboards, actually, I think I did that on the keyboard as well. I also like doing it just, you press 2 keys on the keyboard or on the piano, and it makes, I love that sound. It sounds so nice. They're, like 1 fret apart. And when you play them at the same time, I love that sound. And there you have it. I love that song so much. This album is just, I love this album so much. Have I said that yet? I think I've said that many times. And it's got the original artwork back, so that's really cool. Okay, so what are we doing now? We are doing that. So that's it for that album. Now we're going back to the Black Prog album. So let's see where that would be. Black Prog. So it should be Too Much Bowling's on there. Okay, so let's do that. There's really no point in changing the artwork for this because it's just a black background. So we recently listened to The Gardener, so that was cool. And now we're listening to Girls and Too Much Bowling. Now, I really don't know what the heck this means. Too much bowling? Is that even possible? I don't know. I used to go bowling when I was, we used to go as a family back in the 90s. And so I had fun doing that. I think it was usually 5-pin bowling. I'm trying to think if I've ever been 10-pin bowling. I think I have, but I don't remember. So yeah. I remember this isn't written down, but I might as well just make the video longer. Why not? For like when I was at high school, for some reason we went over to the bowling alley. We walked over to the bowling alley, like as a class. I guess it was like a field trip to the bowling alley. I don't remember what class it was, but we went there, and then we went back to school, and then I realized, oh shit, I left my backpack at the bowling alley. And so I told the teacher that, and he or she let me walk back to get it during class, I believe. So that was pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, we've talked about this album already, so I'm not going to go into it again. However, so these 3 songs, we're listening to this one. The drum sound on these 3 songs are really bad because I ended up stabbing a hole through my drum heads for some reason. And then I didn't have extra drum heads, and I didn't want to go buy anymore. And so I took the resonant heads, like the back heads, off of my drums, and I put them on the top. And so normally resonant heads, they're not made to be hit. So they did not sound very good. And I also didn't have anything on the bottom anymore as well. And for my snare, I ended up using my old metal snare. We've seen it on a couple videos before. And it didn't have a bottom skin. The snare drum didn't have a bottom skin. And so it didn't have snare wires, which makes the snare drum a snare drum. So it sounded absolutely horrible. So these songs have really, really bad sound. So just a warning. However, especially with the song Girls, it really fits. Because Girls is sort of like a black metal-ish type song. And it's like black metal math rock. It's like black prog. So let's listen to Girls. Super tight, incredibly tight. Oh, this riff, I love this part, especially like the guitar and the drums as well. It's just like a perfect combination. Yeah, it's definitely the best part of the song. I love that so much. And it doesn't last very long at all. Once again, a missed opportunity. Some nice dynamics there. Getting louder and softer. Okay, I just realized we forgot to listen to a song on Apanda. So we'll listen to it after. That's my bad. I don't think I wrote it down. I did write it down. Okay, so yeah, that's my fault. Okay, so I love the song Girls. Love it a lot. And so let's listen to Too Much Bowling. Too Much Bowling, this song is quite catchy. However, it's like I mentioned it, I think. Maybe I don't in here. It's probably on my website. I say it's like too bubblegummy or something. It's definitely not my usual type of song. It's more like a math rock song, and it's a little too flowery, and it's not dark, which is, I like my music to be dark, but this is not dark at all. So this is a real outlier in my discography. Yeah, it really makes no sense. Why? I tried to write a math rock song, and I did, but it was a little too, it wasn't dark enough. But let's listen to it anyway. For this song, I obviously changed the skins on my drums. So maybe I just found some extra skins or something. Sometimes Dave would bring over his old skins, and I would use those. So maybe that's where these came from. It's very tight, but it's not dark at all. Okay, there you go. So we're going to go back to Apanda, and we're going to listen to the very last song. So let's listen to It Was the Panda. I don't know what this means. I forgot about this outro. I really like the outro. And there's something that happens at the very end that I really like. My sister's keyboard. I really like the outro there. Okay, so that is finally that is the end of Apanda. I also had this mixer, and I was testing out the different effects on the mixer. It had some like delay effects and reverb and distortion and stuff like that on the actual mixer, and I was testing that out as well as the new mics. So that, because that song features some reverb, it also featured some other stuff as well. On some of the instruments. Okay, so now what are we doing now? We did Black Prog. So now we're going to cassette jams. We have 4 albums left. How long is this effing video? So we're only oh my God, we're 117 in. I still don't think it's possible to get under 2 hours, but okay, let's see if we can do it. So let's go to cassette jams. Okay, this is on cassette jams. Okay, we've talked about this album multiple times. So what we have to do is we've done all these, we've done all this. So we have to do 3 and 4, I believe. Yeah, so new 3 and new 4. So unfortunately, they're quite long. So let's listen. Oh, okay. So I didn't listen to these prior because I was working on my text file. Now, so these, the Kansas City ones, these are Ken and I've talked about this before. Dave brought his drums over to my parents' house, and for some reason Dave wasn't there when Ken and I recorded this. And so Dave was the drummer, and so neither me or Ken were drummers, but we ended up doing this recording session. We probably smoked a joint before we did it because it was super fun. And then we started playing and we started jamming, and we each took turns playing drums. And on these ones, I'm playing drums. This was literally the first time I ever played drums. And it probably not like the very, very first, but before this, I'd only played for like literal seconds. So I had absolutely no experience, and it definitely shows. However, this beat, I don't know why I started playing this beat, but I would try, and not always, I wouldn't try it. But for this session, I was trying to do this beat. I was probably playing the drums when Ken wasn't here. So I was probably doing this before he showed up. But this is my first time being recorded with drums, because Dave brought his drums over. So I was probably playing them, even if I was by myself, because they were so fun to play, drums, that is. And so, but this beat is something that just came naturally to me. And I just remembered about this. This beat, I actually, I programmed out, and I added it to one of my songs, but I forget which one. I think it was on The Last Breath of the Dying, but I don't remember which song. I would have to listen to the album to remember. I just remembered about that right now, though, so that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I didn't remember what song it was on, but anyway, here you go. For this song, I'm playing the beat, and Ken does some cool harmonics. So this is a good one. Ken is playing guitar, I'm playing drums. So obviously the last part of the song was not good, especially with, specifically because of my drumming was so bad. But the first part, I really liked the first part. It was really cool. I was doing stuff on the toms. Ken was playing really good. Ken was playing really good stuff on the guitar with the harmonics. Very melodic. It sounded really good. So that was one of the highlights of the session, of the recording session. So it's about to switch over to new 4. And one other thing, Ken's playing like a new metal type riff. And one thing I really like is I like the beats I'm playing. For some reason, I keep changing where I'm playing the beat. And I think that sounds really good. I don't know why I did that, but I really like how it ended up. I kept changing what I was doing. I was proud of myself. I didn't know how to play along to that drums wise because I was such a noob. All right, so there you go. There you have it. There is the completion. I think we've done, except for Slumberland. We haven't done Slumberland yet, but we've done all of the Kansas City stuff. So that's pretty cool. Listening to those songs just brings back so many memories from, because by the way, I don't think I said this. This was in the year 2000. It was 1999. Good God. What year is it? It's 2025. Long time ago. Okay, so we're done with that. Now, no, we're not. We have to go back. We have one more song to listen to from that. We have Crippler Demo number 3. We listened to Crippler Demo 1 and 2. And so now we've listened to parts. So the Crippler demos, this is just me on guitar. This was recorded in 1997/1998. It was one of those 2 years. They were probably recorded at different times. I was working on a cassette demo that only featured guitar, nothing else. And obviously I didn't finish it. I recorded 3 songs, and these were probably my first like full metal songs that I had ever written. So noteworthy in that regard. The songs themselves are not interesting at all, except for the first 4 minutes of Crippler Demo 1 is amazing. We listened to that on a previous one. I love it so much with the finger banged guitars, the finger picked guitars, finger bang. Don't forget to think of me finger banging you. The 42-year-old me, not 15-year-old me in the photograph. 42-year-old me with the finger banging. I want to get my fingers all bloody. Am I going to have to start the video over again? Oh my God. Holy shit. Okay, so let's listen to this one. We're just going to listen to like the first minute or two, or I don't know. We're not listening to 5 minutes of this because this is really bad. This song features probably my first riffs that ever had tremolo picking. So that's kind of interesting. That's noteworthy in that regard as well. I had started... Yes, I was into Slayer by then, and so I was also Cannibal Corpse, so death metal and thrash metal, and so I was into that style of music. I was getting into it. I was trying to play along to it, trying to figure it out, and I was trying to write music like that as well. And so this song is more towards the death metal version, the death metal style of music compared with the first 2 demos. it's so heavy. Whoa. This goes on for like a long time. It's pretty catchy riff. I'm not gonna lie. That's still catchy even today. So it's kind of funny. I never used that riff in anything else that I recorded. It just sort of went by the wayside, even though it's quite catchy. So it's definitely better than some of the riffs I have on The Last Breath of the Dying. I think I know why, though. It's because it's in like a swing timing. Like it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm generally not a fan of that, so maybe that's why. Yeah, like the tremolo riffs. There's two different ones. This one and then the one we listened to a little bit ago, and they're both good. I still like them. So still thumbs up on that. I knew what I was doing back then. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all we have to listen to. So there you have it, Cassette Jams. Now, before we continue, I think I'm going to make some popcorn. So next up, let's cue up. So it's Ancient Tales. So we're going to listen to Eternal Slumber. All right, so Eternal Slumber, this is an infamous song. I've talked about this in multiple videos. This is Eternal Slumber. This was like my anthem in high school. I had written this it was before, I'm trying to think here. I probably wrote it when I moved back to Sudbury. So in 1999. Yeah, the demo we just listened to was when I lived in St. John's, Newfoundland. And so Eternal Slumber, I moved back to Sudbury. I moved away from my girlfriend. Was super sad. And I started writing Eternal Slumber, and it became my anthem. It was like a death metal song, straight up death metal song. I was super proud of it. And then by the time I recorded The Last Breath of the Dying in 2001, I was completely sick of this song, and I didn't include it on the album. And so it's like, it's quite generic death metal. And it's also has like slow parts, and I'm generally not a fan of it now, still, because, it lost its appeal. So that's what we're going to be listening to. Let me just see if No. I think I talked about it all. Okay, so I am going to make some popcorn. I will be right back. Hey guys, we are back. I got my popcorn. By the way, I'm back down to 141, so I'm feeling pretty good. So I didn't make a whole lot. Anyway, the first part of the video was an hour 32. We have a 12-minute song, so that would be 144. Then we have like a 90-second song. I'm not going to continue doing the math, but we have two 90-minute songs. So that's 3 minutes. So what? 144 plus 3, that's 147. Then we have a couple of shorties. It might even be possible to do this under 2 hours. I didn't even think that'd be possible. Okay, so let's do it. Let's listen to Eternal Slumber. Oh, we also have a 6.5-minute song. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, here's Eternal Slumber. That sound effect in the background, I think it was described as being like a monster slithering across the ground or something. Yeah, I was so proud of this song when I wrote it. It was like, it came out exactly how I wanted, and then I just ended up hating it after. Because I was like, this is just too generic. It does feature a guitar solo, though. I just remembered that. One of my few songs that have a guitar solo. By the way, I forgot to mention, since we talked about this album already, these are my first songs that had drum programming. So the first time I did songs that ever had drum programming, this was the second song that was ever recorded. The second time I did a song that was recorded. First one was the Lost Valley of Dissection. Ken actually manned the recording controls. So he was in my bedroom and I was playing and he was manning the recording software. But for Eternal Slumber, this was all me. So this was my first song that I ever recorded on the computer. So that's pretty interesting. So we've heard part of this song already on another video. There's a version of this song on Cassette Jams with Dave and I. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. Definitely inspired by Cannibal Corpse. Guitar solo is coming up soon. By the way, bit of a trivia here. This riff that we're listening to right now, 2 bits of trivia. This riff has been featured in multiple songs, actually. I believe It's Supposed to Be Sad. It was featured in that. We've listened to that song twice. Ken and I played it once. This is both on the Cassette Jams album. Ken and I played it once, and Dave and I played it once. And this riff is featured on both of those albums. Another bit of trivia here is I've talked about my guitar tuning before on this video series, and I tuned to like a standard tuning. This is tuned quite low, like B, like probably B. And however, it's not quite standard because the second string, I believe, is tuned 1 semitone up. So I mentioned this before. It's like having a 7-string guitar that has no high E string. So I guess it would be, if it was tuned to B, it would be B, E, A, D, G, B. So that is what my tuning would be if it were in tuned down to B. However, the reason I'm talking about this, that is how this song is tuned. The Eternal Slumber, let's just say it's tuned to B. I don't know if it is, but it would be B, E, A, D, G, B, right? Did I get that right? However, this riff is actually tuned in standard. So I had to retune my guitar for the clean guitar. And so, I don't even know what the tuning would be, what the normal tuning would be, but if it were tuned down to B. But we have 2 different guitar tunings on so there are 2 electric guitars, 2 distorted guitars, and then 1 clean guitar. So the clean guitar is tuned differently than the distorted guitars. That's what I'm trying to say here. And the reason for that is because you can't play this riff, the clean guitar riff, the way the distorted guitars are tuned, because it involves an open string. And so if you hit the open string with the distorted guitar tuning, it's the wrong note. Check out the trill. Actually, it was tapping. It wasn't an actual trill, I guess. I think trills you use one hand, right? I was tapping there. All right, there you have it. Eternal Slumber, my anthem from high school that I ended up hating. I still think it's pretty, it's just way too generic. It's not redeemable. It's just an old song I wrote when I was a teenager that I don't like anymore. Anyway, we listened to it. And so we only have 4 songs left. That's pretty good. However, it's not going to be over. It's going to be like 2 hours, 15 minutes, unfortunately. But that's still pretty good. I think that's still pretty good. Sub 3 hours is pretty good. So now we're going back to the Forever Trapped in a Broken Mirror 2002 demo. So let's figure out where that would be. Part 1.5, that is on there. Well, we changed the artwork probably the last time or the time before. So this has 18 tracks. It's a combination of shards and parts because the parts didn't make it onto the final Forever Trapped in a Broken Mirror album that was released by Blood Bucket Productions, unfortunately. There were just too many songs. And also some of these parts aren't very interesting. One of them being one of the ones we're listening to. We were listening to part 1.5. It's 13 seconds, very, very short song. I'm not sure which song it is. I think I know what song it is. It's literally like one riff. So let's listen to this. This is guitar and drum machine. I think there's vocals on this one. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. The vocals, I believe the vocals on this song are pitch shifted down very slightly. Some of the vocals are pitch shifted, but others are not. And so the reason I did that was to try to give it more variety, because I did not do high vocals for any of this. And so it's pretty monotonous. And I didn't write lyrics. I was just making noises. So by doing the pitch shifting, it gave it a little bit of extra variance, I guess. So there's that. And one thing I forgot to mention, we have to change one of these songs. We're doing track 17, Shard 8. That's what we're listening to next. However, I realized, because I listened to this before doing the video, this has no vocals. And I'm like, what? I recorded this song with vocals. Where's the vocal part? And I went on my computer. I was able to find it. So we're going to edit the album. We're going to replace the song. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. It's 5 minutes or 5 megabytes. It shouldn't take very long. So how do we do this? Replace. We did this before. Now we have to figure out where it is. It should be is it in ISO? I think. Forever Trap plus demos. Ugh. Okay. Let's see. It should be this one right here. Yeah. Track 17. I'm almost certain. Let's just pretend it is. Okay, process that bitch. Come on. Okay, done. So let's update the album. Let's view the album. All right, let's just do a little taste test here. Make sure it's got the vocals. Yes, it's got the vocals. Okay, so one interesting thing about this song, I wrote this opening riff here. That like 2-second bit, I wrote that while I was in bed. I was like, I don't know if I was going to bed or if I had just woken up. I think I was going to bed, and I didn't write it. I just thought of it in my head, and I'm like, okay, and I tabbed it out in my head. So it was going to be 0, 7 on the A string. So it starts on the low E string. So 0. Okay, because it alternates between the two low strings. So it'd be 0 on the low E, 7 on the A, 0 on the E, 1. Okay, I'm not going to keep doing it. But this is what I was doing when I was in bed. I was like, okay, it's going to do this. And I could hear it in my head because I played those style of notes a lot. And so I knew how it would sound. And so I did that while I was in bed, and then I finished writing the song. I elaborated on that riff for the rest of the song. And I really like this song. This song is really good. I really like it. So let's listen to it. It's very intense, very intense. It also features another riff that appears in Shard 1. So it's like a callback to that. Good stuff. Very, very intense. It's just nonstop action. So yeah, really happy with that song. I still love that song. I think I like this entire album still. I definitely do. Some parts aren't the most interesting, like the first song we listened to, but what can you do? Okay, so that is it for this one. We now only have 2 songs left. Hooray! If anyone's listening to this, I commend you. You are a trooper. So let's listen to Shard 22. Let's go back to the Shards. Shard 22. So this is on the 2006 version of Forever Trapped in a Broken Mirror. We've actually listened to Shard 22 before. Once again, I thought it was on a Bandcamp Dailies, but it wasn't. It was on me. It was on the video where one of my old tCHADt Reacts videos where I watched my old acoustic guitar videos that I recorded in 2003. So we listened to this version. This song also appears on. This song has so many different names. This is Shard 22. The part number is part 13.2 or 13-2. It also appears on Acoustic Despair. And the name is Sadness Then Sorrow. I believe that's true. So it's got 3 different names. All the same song, I think. And it's also featured in one of my videos. We're going to watch the video as well. It's not too long. And so the song itself is, it's 1:30. It's a really good song. It's very sad sounding. It starts off with clean guitar, very sad sounding clean guitar. And it ends, I believe, with the clean guitar as well. And then the part in the middle is very chaotic with distortion and whatnot and blast beats. So I love this song. It's got such an awesome melody. So let's listen to it. I think that's all I had to say about that. Yes. This is a great song to listen to on loop. I love that about this album. It goes from like extremely mellow, chill, clean guitar, very sad sounding. And then it goes into this just very intense, chaotic death metal music. But it still maintains the melody. There's just a lot of distortion on the guitars. But it's like this album came out, turned out exactly how I had envisioned it. I'm still really proud of this album. It doesn't have, it's not perfect, but some of the songs they still hold up today. I had written, I think like all of these songs over 20 years ago. So it's very old, but I knew what I was doing back then. So I finally figured out what to do, how I should write music. Yeah, I love that song so much. And so now we're going to listen to we have to keep this open actually. We're going to listen to the live video of Shard 22. Now, I forgot to search for it, so I don't know where it is. So let's go to music. I think it's 224. Yeah, it should be here. Acoustic. Now we just have to figure out which one it is. I don't remember which one it is. So we're just going to have to go through all of them. I know it's not this one, the second last one. I know it's not that. It's not this one either. No, I got to have it on mute for some reason. It's not this one because we listened to this in a previous video. Maybe it's this. Yeah, it's this one. And this is a really cool video because I play the song, but also because it features towards the end of the song, like this song originally had another section at the very end, and I didn't record it for some reason. You can see this is 3 minutes long, and this song is only like 1:33. For some reason, I didn't add that onto the album. I don't know why. Probably because I couldn't figure out the drums, what I should do for the rhythm, and it ended up being fine the way it is. But I do really like this riff that we're gonna hear. So once again, we get to look at my very sexy hair with the dyed ends. I'm pretty sure I dyed my hair black and then I just let it grow out, and so the ends are like black. I have my Exhumed shirt on, the Slaughter Cult shirt. I was gonna start, but I'm in the wrong tuning. I'm tuned to standard, but I have to tune to my alternate tuning now. The guitar isn't quite in tune. So that's where the song originally ended, at least on the recorded version. Now this is the extra riff. This is the bonus coverage, the bonus footage that we get in this video right here. I love seeing these old videos of me though. I feel like I was so much hotter back then with my hair. All right, there we go. So we have one song remaining. It's the ender. It's the closer of the album. 11:55, very long song. So let's just take a little peek-see. We are 27 minutes in, yeah. So we're already at like 2 hours. So unfortunately, this might even be a 2.5 hour song, 2.5 hour video, because I may have things to say about this song. So yeah, and I also have like a demo version of this song, which I'll show very briefly. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but I will show it. So here, this is the closer of the album. Obviously, it's much longer than all the other songs. So this one has some very nice melodies as well. So let's take a little peek-see at this song, Chart 37. This is also known as Forever, I believe. Not to be confused with Forever Trapped in Broken Mirror. It was called Forever. Now, I don't know if I came up with this song title for this before I came up with the album name. No, obviously not, because I had started writing Forever Trapped in Broken Mirror in 2001. So yeah, no way. I guess this was just a reference to the album name. So it fades in with some rain that I recorded. There's like a rainstorm. I was in my little tiny room that I've talked about in Sudbury. And so there was like a rainstorm, a thunderstorm. And so I opened the window, my bedroom window, and I had my microphone and I put it out. I like pointed it outside towards where the rain and the thunder was coming from. And I recorded it onto my cassette tape. And I still had the recording somewhere, like the original recording, on one of the cassettes in my bag of cassettes in the back there. But I've used that sample in several different songs. I don't know what the first song was. It was probably for this one, actually. Maybe not. I'm trying to think here. Because there was also a thunderstorm sample that I used in track 6 on The Last Breath of the Dying. Yeah, that was probably the original one. And that was in 2001. So the song has a bit of an intro. It's like a couple minutes long, and it's slow paced. But then the song gets fast, and it maintains its speed for the rest of the duration, pretty much. was almost 3 minutes of an intro. Some nice melodies though in that. There are nice melodies throughout this entire song. It's a very good song. I like how I keep switching up the blast beats. This part and towards the end, this was not included in the original demo version of the song that we're going to check out briefly after this. So that's kind of interesting. Hello. Some nice chords here. I really like this riff coming up. All right, there you have it. There is Shard 37. Yeah, so the final Forever Trapped in a Broken Mirror album that Blood Bucket Productions released has 37 songs, and this is the closer. I believe that album is like 73 minutes long, so quite long, quite a long album. So there you go, pretty good. And so we're going to try and listen to, just take a little peek-see at the demo version of that song. So let's try and figure out where it is. I did a search for it earlier. I think it's in this one right here. Yeah. Forever 2005. So this was recorded, it's 7:59, so it's 8 minutes. This was recorded in 2005. So let's do this. I wonder if it, I couldn't remember if it faded in as well. So yeah, this was recorded in 2005. This was recorded before I moved away from Sudbury for the final time. So so this was recorded in Sudbury. This 2005 is kind of surprising because I remember listening to this song in our friend's van or car or something, and Dave was there as well. And I must have had like a CDR or something. And I'm like, and so we put it into the stereo system. We checked it out. The recording quality on this is quite bad, especially with the drums. The drums sound horrible. The snare is very annoying. However, I remember like listening to part of the song in the guy's car, and that was before I moved away. So, whereas the final version of this song was recorded where I am now. This sounds like it was recorded with the crappy guitar. So this might even be standard tuning. So that's kind of interesting. Really, really bad. And there you go. That's where the song ended on the original demo version of the song. Okay, so that is going to be it for the video. How long is this? So this is 45 minutes. So plus 2.5 hours. Plus 1.5 hours, so that's 2:15 to it's over 2:15, but we're under 2:30, so that's not too shabby. Obviously, this is the longest Bandcamp Dailies so far. This took a long time to prepare. I basically had to spend the entire day preparing for this, so this was quite an elaborate Bandcamp Dailies. Though I think the best part was probably at the beginning where I was talking about the vaginal blood. So hopefully I didn't lose too many viewers at the beginning there. And then probably when I brought up that artwork, the disturbing artwork in MS Paint, I probably lost any other viewers who were still watching. So I'm assuming no one's watching now. Anyways, thank you for watching if you did watch it, and I'll see you next time.